Jalen Hurts is your MVP. He should be. He's the candidate, in my opinion. Jalen Hurts had an amazing game. He did throw an interception, but the resiliency, how he responded, is all the reason why this Philadelphia Eagles were able to pull off the win against the Buffalo Bills. You know what I'm saying? 37-34. The resiliency from this team, man. Let's just keep it 100. This was not a pretty game during the first half, you know, but this defense played well. This offense did not play well in the second quarter. I think they had about 19 yards. But Jalen Hurts responded. This offense responded in the second half, in overtime. You know, they was able to go down and hold the Buffalo Bills in a bend but don't break style defensive play in overtime. It was like bend but don't break. They let him get the 3 points, and it was like lights out for Jalen Hurts. It was lights out after that. Jalen said, I got the killer instinct. And I'm coming in here, and I'm going to get this win. Look, he got the win in the lane. Let's just keep it a buck. He got the win in the lane. 37-34, man. Let's talk about Jalen Hurts, man. He was 18-31, 200 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 interception. He played amazing, MVP caliber. When it just wasn't looking good for the offense, he figured out how to will this team to victory. That's what Jalen does, and I keep saying that, man. People like we're not playing our best brand of ball. You know, things are happening. Why can't we do this or why can't we do that? But guess what? Let me tell you something, man. The Philadelphia Eagles know how to do this, and that's win. That's our identity. Excuse me. That's our identity. We know how to win. Of course, the first half was not our brand of football, of course. But when you can come back and figure out how to win against a team that's over 500 in the way we do it, how we have won every way this year. We have won every way. And most of them weren't pretty. But we also found a way to win. And I want to talk about this Brian Johnson, man, real quick before we move on to anything else. It's so many different opinions on, Brian Johnson, how he's, calling plays this season. Is Brian Johnson our downfall? Is he going to be our downfall moving forward? Will he be our downfall in the playoffs? Because if you don't know, now you know. Before we move on to any of that, let's congratulate the Philadelphia Eagles on clinching a playoff berth. The Philadelphia Eagles are going back to the playoffs. I don't want to forget to talk about that, But that's what we do. We go to the playoffs and we win. But the Eagles were able to go ahead and clinch up a playoff berth at 10-1 in this tough NFL league. So that's number one, man. My boys is out here and they going back to the playoffs. And look, this time I've seen the Philadelphia Eagles win so many different ways that I cannot count this team out. Even when, we want to count this team out because of the mistakes that we see on the field, because of bad play calling, the screens, the blah, blah, the wooty-woot, But last year, we were screaming for some screen passes, and now we're seeing a bunch of them. Now we're probably seeing too many. But, last year, coming into the season, we were saying, oh, we need to get the screen going. I'm glad we got DeAndre Swift here, so we can get the screen going. And now we run a lot of screens, and sometimes it don't work in our favor. You know what I'm saying? But that's cool and all. That's good. That's good, because we've still found a way to win. So I want to be down on Brian Johnson. I don't want to be down, but it's, I be just upset watching these games, man. I be upset watching them. My blood be bubbling watching these games, because what I see from Brian Johnson is not what I want to see. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to see some more runs to DeAndre Swift. That's what I want to see. I want to see a little bit less of Gainwell and more of Penny. That's what I would like to see. But that's all just likes and wants. What we need is the win. And this team has been doing that. And, all the flack we're going to give them, we still need to not let that fact blind us from, how much the Eagles have been winning this season. The Eagles been winning. The Eagles been winning. It's been tough. It's been ugly. But we've been winning. That's the fact of the matter is. So it's no way that we can let Brian Johnson walk. We are a 10-1 team. If we were losing, then we can probably be saying, we could be talking like, how Ken Dorsey just got fired, because they haven't been winning the way they feel like they need to be winning. So they felt like a change needed to happen over there. But I don't feel like a change needs to happen completely at this point in the season because we are 10-1. Only thing I can really do is hope and pray that Brian Johnson get it together and he keep figuring out a way to win. That's all I can really ask of him right now because he's not going nowhere. I want everybody to really get this through their mind. Brian Johnson is not going nowhere. He will be with us for the remainder of the season. Understand that. And understand that we have to deal with that. We have to deal with it. Some people, it's hard for them to deal with that. But like I said, man, only thing that we can do is hope and pray to God that he get it together, moving through the rest of this gauntlet that y'all say. He get it together, and he continue finding ways to win. That's all I can really ask. And if you can do that, if you can clinch home field advantage, if you can win the next 2 games, then we have to really evaluate. We have to reevaluate, all of the harsh and the slack and the flack that we give to Brian Johnson. If he's able to beat Dallas again, if he's able to beat San Francisco next week, even if he was able to split those games, you see what I'm saying? We have to start thinking logically. That's all I want everybody to do. Start thinking logically. Brian Johnson is not going nowhere. There's no reason for us to sit here and say, fire Brian Johnson. Fire Brian Johnson. It's not going to happen. Get it out your brain. You got an MVP at quarterback. Let's focus on that. Let's focus on Jalen Hurts and how good he has been playing, what his win streak has been. That's what we really need to focus on. And I'm not saying that Brian Johnson don't need to focus, but I do think that Brian Johnson is being masked by a little bit of talent, and that's not a bad thing. If I'm a first-year offensive coordinator in this league and I get to coach the roster that we have, the Philadelphia Eagles right now, I'm not going to be the best. Like, nobody going to be the best in their first year. Nobody going to be the best. But at the same time, I would just be blessed to have a roster like this that mask a little bit of my mistakes. So I kind of want to look at it like the glass being half full and half empty. Yeah, Brian Johnson isn't making the best situational play calling. But when we need it, when we have to have it, the Philadelphia Eagles has been completing the task. And I want everybody to really notice that. I want everybody to really let that grasp in your brain. But the Eagles have done it again. And we're going to enjoy this for the next 24 hours before we start prepping for a huge game this week. Y'all been saying every week, oh, the Philadelphia Eagles going through the gauntlet. They have the hugest game, blah, blah, blah. We just play the best football. And when I say the best football, I'm not saying through the game. I'm just saying when it's time to have a play, when we have to have a play, when we have to have it, it's being had. And that's what's important, yo. And I want everybody to know that. There's a lot of Eagle haters, man. It's a lot of Philadelphia Eagles people who just don't like us, and they thought that we was going to lose this game as well. But that's one thing I have learned about the Philadelphia Eagles. We never out of a game. We never out of a game because we got Jalen Hurts. We never out of a game, right? We never get blowed out. We have not got blowed out. It's a lot of teams that just get blowed out. Like the Niners and the Cowboys game, they just get blowed out. They lay down, They lay down. The Philadelphia Eagles have not yet laid down this season. Everything has been to the wire. Everything has been to the wire. And I'd rather have it that way than us just get moonwalked and get our ass beat. But that's not what's happening. The Philadelphia Eagles, just like I feel like that we keep these teams in it. We also keep ourselves in it with the bend don't break defense from Sean Desai. The great adjustments from Sean Desai in the second half, right? And Brian Johnson calling the correct play calls when we need it. Of course, we looking at it like, oh man, we can blow these teams out. But these are NFL teams. These are professionals over there. You see what I'm saying? So we got to make sure we know that as well. We got to make sure we doing our due diligence as fans and looking at this from a whole instead of just looking at it, looking at all the bad things like Brian Johnson play calling. But the good thing is, the best part about that is we 10-1 and we the best team in the league. And can't nobody take that away from us. And nobody's gonna take it. Because we take stuff. You know what I mean? We play physical. We play bully ball. We have to run the ball more successfully. Even though we do, I think DeAndre Swift had 14 carries and 80 yards, no touchdowns. Jalen had 14 carries, 65 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Kenneth Gainwell had two carries for 26 yards. I'm not sure why we don't give those carries to Boston Scott, even though he was able to have some positivity on those plays. But at the same time, why? But like I said, I'm not the coach. I don't make those type of calls. It is what it is. We 10-1. Let's look at that. Devontae Smith, man. Let's talk about Devontae Smith because Jalen should get a game ball, but Devontae Smith should get a game ball as well. I mean, Devontae Smith is a great receiver. If you looked at a lot of plays last week, he was running wide open. This week, he's running wide open. He's a great compliment to A.J. Brown, who everybody got their attention on because we don't have Dallas Goedert, right? He's which we may be able to get earlier than sooner than later, but that's another segment. But Devontae Smith has came up in the clutch. He's done his job. He was able to acquire 100 yards this week, 106 to be exact, when a lot of these other weeks he was only able to get 99. Today he cracked 100 over 100 yards. He just played. He had a touchdown. He's been playing well. He's been showing up in big games and big times. But I also want to talk about Olamide Zaccheaus, man, because he came through with a big touchdown today as well, man. Olamide Zaccheaus, in my opinion, don't get a lot of credit. He don't get the credit that he deserves. He came in here in a battle with a player who's been playing on this team for a few years, and Quez Watkins, and he won that battle. He's out here making plays. He does a lot of things well. So we cannot forget about Olamide Zaccheaus, man. He does a lot of things well when it comes to blocking, when it comes to getting open, when it comes to making big plays. Olamide Zaccheaus really come through in a clutch for us. So I really wanted to bring up the awareness on that. This defense was just solid all game. We put early on, we kept putting the defense back on the field. Turnovers was happening. We kept putting the defense back on the field, and they stood the test of time. Yeah, they broke a little bit, they let them score a little bit, but at the same time, when it counted, we was able to do what we had to do in overtime, held them to 3 points instead of the 7, and we was able to get the ball. Get the ball back and score. On the defensive side, let's talk about, the top tackler, which is Bayard. He had 9 tackles, 4 assisted. Nicholas Morrow had 7 tackles and 5 assisted. Reed Blankenship, always one of the top guys at tackling, 7 tackles, 3 assisted. Zach Cunningham, same, 7 and 3 assisted. Let's talk about Jalen Carter, man. Jalen Carter with the block field goal, early in the game. This game was a nail biter, so every defensive stop counts. You're talking about a player like that. Jalen Carter is special. He's special. He's a different breed. It's his first year in the league, and he's making game time plays like that. Game time plays in the biggest moments of football. He's making it. That's, to me, he should be considered the defensive rookie of the year, in my opinion. But at the same time, man, that guy has really came out and replaced Javon Hargrave so well as a rookie, and he just jumped right in and didn't miss a beat. Jordan Davis, man, the run stuffer. With Jordan Davis, man, he played well today, in my opinion. You know, he did a lot of things that didn't show up on the stats sheet. A lot of, chasing Josh Allen, a lot of stopping the run. Shout out to Stu Vision, man. I was on live with, I was on the Eagle Uncut and Quezzy and those guys' podcast during the game. And Stu said something that really resonated with me. So shout out to Stu Vision on this. He said that, we need to run that 5-man front a lot more, which is true. When we run that 5-man front, we make everybody block one-on-one. And to me, I feel like we are the more dominant team. We are the more dominant team. So if it's mano a mano with the Philadelphia Eagles or any other team in this league, I feel like we can win that battle. But when we will go away from that 5-man front and go to the 4-man front, you've seen these plays start to happen. You've seen the first down start to happen. You've seen Josh Allen able to maneuver his way out the pocket and, get down the field and make plays with his arms and his legs when we went away from that 5-man front. So I think we need to put that 5-man front out there a lot more often to just give this defense a chance. So that's really probably the only thing that I can say on the defensive side of the ball. Bradbury was able to get an interception today in the most opportune time. That was a really big pick by him. We needed it. And I called it. I said this, we're getting to pick this drive, and it happened. You know what I'm saying? So, man, this was a tough game to watch, but the outcome was phenomenal. And while we're talking about, the outcome of things, I also want to bring up Jake Elliott, man. Jake Elliott, 1 for 1 today, a 59-yard bomb. I'm talking about to send the game to overtime to give us an opportunity to win. Jake Elliott don't get enough credit. He's one of those guys who we rely on heavy and who has kept us in games, won big games for us. Jake Elliott, man, one of the best kickers in the league, and I'm so happy that he's on this roster. Jake Elliott did his thing. Covey, another player, very solid. I want to bring up, I don't feel like he gets enough credit as well. He's another player, very solid. He could get out. He can get, 10 to 15 yards on these returns. He's always catching the ball. He rarely muffs it. Last year and the time before that, when he was doing it for us, he would catch the ball and just get damaged. People would just kill him, but not this time. This year, Covey has had a solid season. He most of the time is positive yardage on every return. So I want to bring up the awareness there, especially since how much flack we gave him last year. So let's talk about the Bills, man. Josh Allen he was 29 for 51, 339 yards, 2 touchdowns and 1 interception. I feel like Josh Allen was the reason why this team lost that football game. To be honest, I feel like Josh Allen is a decent quarterback, above average quarterback, but he don't have that winning mentality. He don't have that killer instinct that Jalen has. He's not better than Jalen Hurts. He has a big arm, but he will make mistakes. Like I said, 339 yards, he really was out there slinging it. But he couldn't put the ball in the end zone in the overtime when they really, really needed it. He couldn't do that. So we was able to go ahead and take that game from him because I don't think that he was that solid. He also, he was killing us with his legs today, man. He had 9 carries for 81 yards, led this team in running. We've been a run stopping defense, but we did let Josh Allen get loose a little bit, but he couldn't do enough to win. I'm going to bring up Gabe Davis and how good he played today, man. He had 6 receptions, 105 yards, and a touchdown. He just was everywhere on the field. Great play by him. Stephon Diggs had 6 receptions for 75 yards and a touchdown. I feel like he was the guy to watch, and we did put the straps on him, and he just didn't do enough for his team to win. And that's really what it is, man. That's just really what it is. And they hire a person the highest player with the most tackles was Micah Hyde with 6, Teron Johnson with 5, Poyer with 5, Rasul Douglas, excuse me, with 5. So, you know, to be honest, man, we was able to do what we had to do to win, man, and that's really all that matters. That's all that matters, bro. If you tapped in with your boy and you made it this far in the video, man, do the channel a favor, man. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Share this. Hit that notification bell. I'm telling you, man, I'm gonna continue coming with that work. My Philadelphia Eagles is 10-1. I'm extremely happy. I'm excited. It's not really much more I can say. But thank you, Philadelphia Eagles, for all you have done this season and how good you have been in clutch situations. That's all. That's all we can really ask for as fans. You go out there and give it 110% every week, even though sometimes the outcome is always a win, but the way we get there is not pretty. But as long as the outcome is a win, is really not much we can say, and that's a fact. That's a fact. But like I said, man, if you tapped in and you like shit like this, man, please get it to another person, share it, because we in a building. But for now,